there's this clip of a student at Arizona State University, and it's about 2 minutes. So as you listen in versus watching, why we pulled it in is because we talk about leadership, we talk about parenting, we talk about the various different things that entrepreneurs have to deal with on a daily basis. But there's a principle here, whether you're a part of the workforce or you're the one, bringing the people into the organization. And it's hopefully that you're leading and living with the values of being able to accept the the consequences of your actions.
Yes, personal accountability.
Yeah.
That's the biggest issue that we're up against right now as a country, especially with this generation who's never really experienced hard stuff.
Well, and as we hear her words, that's the thing that stands out to me as a watcher of this content and as a business owner, as someone looking at what's happening around us, is the consequence. There's a lack of consequences, and then there's the unwillingness to accept the consequences for those who do actually face them, and that doesn't mix for any sort of progression or growth. So,
I'm a little disappointed. I'm being restricted from a lot of things right now that I didn't expect to be for standing up for something that I believe in. I have family coming in who I have to let them know to not come to my graduation ceremonies. I am glad that there is a guarantee that my courses will be taken care of, so I don't have to worry necessarily about my graduation requirements and the fact that I will earn my degree as I have spent the past 4 years doing. But I'm just disappointed. I'm a 2020 high school grad, so I wasn't able to walk then. And so, here it is. I'm not able to walk now.
Knowing, what you know now, like you said, you were standing up for a cause, would you do it again?
Yeah, I would. I was doing what I believed was right, and I still believe it to be right. I would stand up for the cause again, even if it means something negative to me, because the cause is so much harm has been done to all of those people already. I am safe. I am fine. I might not graduate, and that might harm future job prospects and stuff like that, but I'm not in physical danger. I'm not constantly worried about being hurt or being forced from my home or anything like that.
Right.
I would absolutely
yeah. There's a lot of ways to take that and watching it all the way through. I get it. It sucks. But the reality, the real life is there's consequences. There's consequences. Absolutely. And if it's that important to you, then be ready to face it. If you really meant what you were saying right now, you wouldn't be crying. Right. You'd be like, absolutely. Right. I'm stoked to not graduate because we clearly made an impact. But to her, graduating is most important. And then just stuff she says, it's going to hurt my job prospects. No, this video is probably going to hurt your job prospects more than not graduating. Right. Would have been better for you to just stay under the radar. Yeah. You can always go finish out your degree. There's plenty of people who have been very successful who didn't even go to college. Yeah. Dude, and I kind of look at this on a couple of different levels. One of them being the words people choose. You see a lot of these young students, they talk about the cause. And when you talk about a cause, one of the things I've come to at least consider is, I think when you use this word, the cause that we see floating around these universities, it points to me to this dichotomy that these students live in that's almost temporary, where they're in the middle of the conflict and the things that they're engaging in, but they don't actually anticipate it invading their actual lives. Right. Because it's just this thing to be passionate about.
to be interested in, to stand up for, and it's temporary. But if you look around the world, and if you look around the very people that they're claiming to be supporting, it's not a cause. Not a cause. This is who they are. This is a matter of faith. This is like complete identity wrapped up into something. And so I just look at this and I'm like, okay, make your choices, live with your consequences, but also you haven't actually thought this through.
Yeah, when you hear people talk about a soft generation, that's it. Like, at least how I grew up, if you were popping off at the mouth, you got smacked.
Yeah.
You weren't allowed to just run your mouth and not actually back it up. And that taught you some things early that, like, hey, if I do this, I might get my ass kicked. And candidly, like, there's just not enough of that going on anymore. People can say whatever they want with no recourse. They live inside of a bubble. They've never experienced anything hard. Could you imagine what it was like for our grandparents, World War II, watching the announcement on TV when they pulled out your birthday to see if you were going to actually get drafted?
Right.
That's like some heavy stuff.
Yeah, for sure.
That's, mouth matching action stuff.
Right.
And none of them have had to experience anything like that. I haven't had to experience anything like that.
Right.
Closest thing that I came to hardship was 2008, coming out of school during that time period. And even then I looked back and it was like, I had food on my table. I figured it out. It was hard, but I'm alive. There was no threat of dying,
Yeah, for sure. Dude, last thing before we could shift gears is like, to me, it's like these young people aren't thinking. These younger folks, we're young too, but they're not thinking about it. It's just like blind faith. And in matters of faith, entrepreneurship, leadership, relationships, you have to count the cost. And I just see a bunch of young people who haven't actually counted the cost, man. They haven't actually thought through about the ideas that they're espousing, that they're claiming to, hold and, are promoting or the consequences of these ideas. And excuse me, we have a responsibility as those who are leading communities and businesses to try to be conduits of that to actually take place. It's like, That's the takeaway I have for our listeners is like, try to be a conduit of these young people engaging with ideas and getting them to try to count the cost and process what they think and why, because it's just momentum that they're getting caught up in. It doesn't make any sense.
Yeah, it's when you see people get caught in a riot who've never committed any crime. It's like, how did this happen? It's just groupthink.
Yeah, or someone's like, we're being oppressed on campus and we have to sneak food in. Well, it's like, actually, you could just leave. You could just walk out and go to McDonald's and come back if you wanted to.
Yeah, absolutely.